Hello there, it's Luna the Zen Witch on a very special occasion. I had a milestone over the weekend in that somebody donated, my first donor. Thank you so much. It's very exciting. I immediately bought another deck. So, yeah, if you're interested in donating, what you're going to be contributing to is my collection of decks and my body of work. And I really, really appreciate that. You guys are awesome. So, my first donor gets a reading. Yay! Happy you. So let's take a look here. And she did. I reached out to her and asked if she had a question she wanted to ask, and she did. So the question was about taking business to the next level. And we're going to do a 10 card reading here. So let's just shuffle to wake them up. I'm going to shuffle 3 times to wake them up. Whoops, they don't want to be shuffled anymore. And then we're going to cut shuffle 3 times. Whoops. 1. When I shuffle, cut shuffle like that, I don't know if you could see, I'm consciously sinking down into my body. I'm putting my awareness down into my body, and I close my eyes so that it's easier if something wants to fly out of the deck. All right, let me move my pentagram a little bit there. Okay. All right. The first thing that stands out to me is that we've got major arcana lining up down the left side. Very interesting. You know, when I do these readings with the triples, there's a lot of information that can come through. There's, you know, I read them this way, but I also look at how things line up this way. There's a lot of information to be had. Sometimes things go this way as well. All right. At the top here, the Lover's card being the first one out talks about attracting to you what you need, putting yourself in that attraction place. So in order to attract, we do have to step out of fear. And she did talk about, and I will address you directly, my donor. You did talk about stepping out of the fear of going to the next level. So know that in order to attract, you do really need to step out of the fear place. How do you do that? Start imagining. Rather than imagining the worst case scenario, start imagining the best case scenario. You've got to create it in your mind. Edgar Cayce said the mind is the builder. So start looking at, how do I create in my mind what it is I want? And what comes along with that, when you really, really visualize well, you're including senses. You know, what's it going to feel like, taste like, smell like, look like, sound like? And then it starts generating emotional energy as well. This is the start of magic. So the first one right out of the box says, number 1, define what it is you want to attract to you in great detail. Great, great detail. So here we go with the senses again. And then start imagining what that's going to look like. And try it on. You know, when I was starting to build my channel, it's like, well, I want to do this and I want to do this, and I would immediately get overwhelmed. So I finally backed off and went, I'm going to start with this. I'm going to do unboxings. That's it. Now, after I don't know how many months I've been doing this now, 9 months, 10 months, something like that. And I'm now going, okay, now I'm ready to add the next thing. So give yourself permission as well, while you're imagining the totality of it, to feel the reaction of your body to that and respond in steps. You know, what are the steps going to look like? What are, when we're thinking in abstracts of success, what does that look like? What are the jobs I'm going to be doing when I'm successful? All right. Because 5 of Rods here says we're not coordinated. Energies are not coordinated. So we're thinking, well, I could do this or I could do that, and I could do, and then we shut down. All right. So what I just said about overwhelm and kind of, okay, then fuck it, I'm not doing it, could be applying here. That we're just going at things in fits and starts and not a coordinated way. And then it's like, oh, God, I can't do anymore, you know, and you exhaust yourself. So again, great detail in baby steps, little increments. What can I do today? What am I going to add today? And giving yourself permission to slow down, do what you're doing now extremely well and to the best of your ability, and then letting the next step kind of organically arise. Oh, here's what needs to happen next, obviously, rather than pushing the river, okay? Now, in the center, we've got the Magician. This says you've got all the basics together. You have all the basics you need in order to do what you need to do. And at the heart of it is the King of Cups. This is emotional mastery. So what we got to do is get our feelings in the right perspective and the right proportion. What King of Cups says is emotions inform. I absolutely feel them and I honor them, but I don't let them run the show. So part of business is staying out of the, oh, I don't feel like doing that today. Now there's a line here. There's a fine line, because if you're a creative, if you're an artist and you deal with inspiration, you depend on inspiration, it can be really difficult to get up on a day and go, I'm just not feeling it today. And then you go, fuck it. And you go do something else. And then there's a wasted day. And then there's repercussions and recriminations and breastfeeding and rending of garments and all of that. So how do we stay out of this? Well, how do we stay out of this and go into it at the same time? So if you're doing a business that requires inspiration, you have to generate that inspiration. You've got to make the space for it. And number one on that list is just showing the fuck up. So on a given day, regardless of whether you feel it or not, you just show up to the place, show up to the context. So getting your context set so it's conducive, having your setting so that it's easy to do business. So rearranging everything around you so that when I step into it, everything is set up for me to succeed at doing this. Okay, so making sure that your setting is really conducive to it. And then when you show up in that setting, you are priming your brain for inspiration. There was a woman, got an article years and years and years ago about this woman that made these incredibly detailed little boxes with cubbies in them, and she decorated and all this kind of stuff. And somebody asked her, what her process was and how she went about it. And she had a workshop out behind her house. And she's like, I go to that workshop at the same time every day, whether I feel like it or not. It's going to work. I get up, I have my coffee away, and then I go to the shop and I start working, and then the inspiration follows. So I think King of Cups there is saying we just need to master emotional energy and let it inform but not run the show. And then we've got Knight of Cups next to here. And Knight of Cups talks about an offer or an opportunity. Coming off of King of Cups says that the fulfillment and the opportunities will arise based on my mastery, the mastery of the Magician, the mastery of the emotional energy. And then and there's something else coming there. Hold on. This can also talk about you making an offer to someone else. And the Lover's card does talk about partnership and, attraction and attracting of a soulmate, which a soulmate is someone you've got karma with. It doesn't matter whether it's romantic or not. So I'm wondering whether there could be an offer of collaboration. I don't see the Four of Rods here, which definitely would talk about a collaboration, but the potential is there to bring in a partner on this or to collaborate in some way, to make an offer in that way. Okay, down here, we've got the Empress and the Eight of Swords and Nine of Pentacles. Okay, so coming down here, the Empress is abundance. It's things bearing fruit. So we have this attraction principle, and then the Magician is picking up the tools and getting it going. And then the Empress says things bear fruit. Gestation happens, and it can certainly make money for you. Yeah, there's gestation. But look at next to it, Eight of Swords. So here's where the fear comes in. The fear of being trapped. The fear of I don't have any choice. And wow, is this a fear that I share? This has stopped me more times than I could ever count in my lifetime. The fear of it's going to get away from me. And because of the disorders that I have and because of my fibromyalgia and stuff and my adrenal condition, it's a real fear that, something could take off and then I crash and I can't keep up with it. So just acknowledge this fear of I'm trapped, I don't have a choice. And the blindfold indicates you're just not willing to acknowledge all the choices that exist. So take the blindfold off and ask, so what would happen if my worst fear comes up? And I'm going to look at her email again and see. Yes, just fear about taking it to the next level. I think I know what to do and even how to do it and even doing some of those things, but a few important things that are too shy and fearful to just do. All right. So the blindfold comes off. Look at the choices that are in front of you and acknowledge all of them. The Nine of Pentacles talks about you building things just the way you want. So down here, I think we've got to kick out the idea that I'm not worthy of making money and that what I do isn't going to, if I move it to the next level, I'm not going to have the abundance and the money, because these two cards say you absolutely are. You absolutely are able to do that, and maybe acknowledging fear there. Sometimes we get afraid of success and afraid of making money. And I'm looking about the shyness. Okay, the moon coming up at the end there. The moon says that there's some deep-seated stuff that needs to be addressed here, and I just heard the word deserve. So I want you to ask yourself, what kind of trauma or what kind of old ideas were installed that might say to you, you don't deserve this level, you're not worthy. Because the moon says there's something going under the surface there that needs to be addressed. So the two shyness, I want you to sit with that and feel it in your body, feel it like up the chakras. Where do you feel it resides? And ask for it to please show this to me, to my conscious mind, because the moon says it's unconscious. Hidden processes, hidden unconscious processes. And the moon says deception. So it says there's a message here that's not true, that needs to be grappled with. So looking at your past, was there a time that somebody told you you'll never make it, you're not worthy, you're not good enough? You should not be so bold. You should be a little quieter about what you do. It's too, you're being pushy. All these messages that women get when they're being fabulous, okay? So really look below the surface and ask yourself, what is it that I'm labeling shyness? Is there really trauma behind that? What's the idea that I need to kick out? What unconscious process is telling me I don't deserve? And see what you can do about that. Let's kind of take a breakdown here. We've got majors 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 10 cards. We've got 1 wand, 2 swords, 2 cups, 1 pentacle. Okay, so it is absolutely not about money and resources. Sort of about and absolutely not about the creative. You've got the creativity. Emotionally, there's some emotional conflict going on, but the moon at the end, particularly, the majors lining up like that and a major at the end is attention getting. So it says that there are life lessons. There's something in life, a big life event or lesson that is underpinning all this that needs to be looked at. You certainly have the resources. You certainly have the talent. You've got the creativity. All of those things are in place. And King of Cups in the middle talks about that emotional mastery. But the moon coming right on top of that also says in order to get to that emotional mastery, we've got to clear out something that isn't true, something that's deep-seated and untrue. Okay? I hope that helps. I am so grateful for your donations. So very grateful. I am grateful every time you show up on a live stream and really grateful to connect with you. And I hope you enjoy this. And other donors, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be doing readings for everybody, but you never know. I think maybe every once in a while I will pick someone at random and from my donors, and I will send you an email to say, hey, you just got a reading, and we'll connect that way. So, again, have a glorious day. Look at this sunlight, everybody. I felt like we spent the day outside having a fire yesterday, like all day long, and it felt like we were on vacation. So, for everybody, how can you give yourself a vacation today? We call it vacation in a bucket, where you go out and do something for a day, and it's just like, and then you bring that, in the moment energy and enjoy it for everything it's worth. Anyway, love you guys. Like and subscribe. Hit that donation button. See what happens. It'll be great. I will see you next time. This is the Zen Witch. Blessed be.